All right, real quick, I'm super excited because I want to introduce you all to a gentleman who's both your friend and your advocate. This is a high caliber individual. Just this week, I was able to step in and listen in at the Attorneys General Association meeting, which was just held in Denver. So leaders, top attorneys general from all over North America, rallied right here into Denver. And not only the host, but I think that he was basically the rock star in the room. Everyone I told that I was from Colorado, they were like, this is your attorney general. All right, he had worked in both the Clinton and Obama administrations. He was actually selected in 2009 by President Obama to work in the Justice Department. He was the assistant, I always get the assistant deputy attorney general in the antitrust division. And so the guy has just got a heart of gold. I mean, he's truly responsible for 5.5 million lives in Colorado. So the first role of government is to protect its people. And this is one of those individuals. He's truly got a heart of gold. I know next weekend we're going to be marching in Pride Festival, so I'm excited about that. But let's give a warm welcome to your Attorney General, Mr. Bill Weiser.
Thank you guys, that's so kind. And I understand we've got people from all around Colorado here? Yes. All right, Southwest Colorado, Durango, Montezuma, Pueblo? How about Grand Junction? All right. Have anybody here from Craig, Colorado, Moffett County? Okay. How about Sterling? All right. All right, well, this means there's more opportunities for the rest of you. I want to talk about 4 things. A little bit about me, what brings me here. Second, about entrepreneurship, picking up a theme you've been talking about. Third, access to justice. And fourth, citizenship. First, a word about me. I basically lived the American dream. My mom came here after she survived the Holocaust. She was actually born in a concentration camp on April 13, 1945. She was liberated the very next day by the U.S. Army. So today we're thinking about D-Day. I think yesterday was the celebration. And Congressman Jason Crow from this district, as I understand it, jumping out of a plane, 70-year-old plane, over Normandy to commemorate. That's what you get when you elect someone who is a ranger as your congressman. Jason's great. And it's a personal, because the people who served our nation liberated my mom. And then my grandparents said they wanted to come to the United States of America because they believed this land of opportunity committed to equal justice for all. And they did get here. It took them a little bit. They came in 1951. And that's the story that I grew up with. So all of us grew up with our stories, right? You can think about your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents. Well, I grew up hearing about the story of survival. And not many people from my family survived. Most of them didn't. But my grandparents did. And they believed in a positive future. And they came here, they didn't speak the language. They had nothing except for a few special family heirlooms they brought from Poland. But they believed they could build a life for themselves. For my mom, who went to college, one of their family, my dad also was first generation. And when I grew up, it was with that spirit of optimism and a belief in what this country is about and the opportunities that we all have. And I always felt this incredible call to serve, to be a public servant. Because democracy is a team sport. We need people all in this together, thinking, how do we continue to live the aspirations of great leaders that our nation has had, from James Madison to Abraham Lincoln to Martin Luther King. We are living in a legacy that has a constitution that says towards a more perfect union. The way Martin Luther King put it is, the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. So I went to law school motivated by this spirit. And I worked out here for a judge, David E. Bell, my first job, great mentor, and I, like many, fell in love with Colorado. How many people were born in Colorado in this room? All right? That's about a third of you. How many of you are here by choice, Colorado? See how many of you guys? And we have a problem, which is the word is getting out, and we're like on fire. So we need to kind of cool the promotion just a little bit because we want to keep Colorado special. And I fell in love with Colorado, and I thought this is where I want to live. But I did then go to Washington, first to work for Justice Byron White, who's a Coloradan, and also Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. How many of you saw the movie RBG? Okay. Really inspiring story, belief in the rule of law. It used to be, by the way, for Justice Ginsburg started litigating cases, that if you were, we talked about wills, well, if you were a woman, you couldn't actually be the person who handled the will. You couldn't be the executive. In Louisiana, you couldn't serve on a jury if you were a woman. They had all these old stereotypes. And by the way, if you were a man, you couldn't get Social Security benefits to take care of your parents. If you were a woman, you could. So those are all old stereotypes that she took on. And when I worked for her, she wrote an opinion that said women had to be allowed into the Virginia Military Institute because women can serve in our armed forces just like that. So that's the arc of my service. Goes to work with President Clinton, President Obama, here at the University of Colorado, where I've been a law professor, very active in the community, dean of the law school, and now I get to be your Attorney General, which means I have the responsibility to take care of everyone in this room, to serve all of you. And I believe it is a team sport. Let me talk about entrepreneurship, because that theme has been touched on. Obviously, you are all here because you have that entrepreneurial spirit. What I want all of you to know, and this is super important for everyone, we're not living in the world of my grandfather or even my dad. So my grandfather came over here. He got a union job in what New York they call the Schmata district. They made clothes. And he expected that he could have that same job. Now, it turned out that plant closed, and they were able to retire. That was the beginning of that. My dad became a doctor, which was a real ticket to the middle class. He was able to open up his own practice. That's harder now, even for doctors to be able to do that. But he had that career. When I graduated law school, I knew that we were in a different world. It used to be lawyers would go to law school, and they'd think, okay, I'll go into a law firm, I'll stay there, they'll make me a partner, and I'll stay there. We're not in that world. People, when they graduate college now, are planning to have 7 different careers. Not 7 different jobs, 7 different careers. Which means everybody needs to have an entrepreneurial attitude. Everybody needs to think of themselves as an entrepreneur in yourself. This is really important because it means you all have to be committed to lifelong learning. You can't just learn one thing and get comfortable and like, okay, I'm set with this. No. We all got to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone and learn more and different things. I had to learn how to be a politician, which I'm still learning. And this is the reality. When I was at the University of Colorado, I pushed hard on entrepreneurship to support students, to build those skills, to support our community. And what's great about Colorado, what I love so much, we're all in this together. Democracy is a team sport. Entrepreneurship is a team sport. We are collaborative problem solvers. Whether it's the opioid epidemic, criminal justice reform, managing our water, we've got to work to solve these together to show our nation what democracy looks like. Let me talk about one of those issues that you're thinking about and going to work on, which is access to justice. The rule of law and protections of the law exist in statutes. They exist in cases. But if people don't have the benefits of those protections, we have what's called an access to justice problem. There's a lot of cynicism that people don't feel protected. I want to do everything I can as your Attorney General to work on this. So one important area is for consumers, because if someone gets cheated, let me give an example someone just told me. Let's say you were paying this fee on your TV bill, and then the fee that you're paying for stops because the service no longer is continued. But they just put you onto a different service that you didn't ask for and keep charging you. How many people here have been kind of screwed over in some billing issue? All right? This is a big problem because a lot of companies who are trying to cut corners and are being irresponsible think, well, I'll just put this charge out there. I hope they won't notice. If they do, I'll waive it. But for all those who don't notice, I'll make a quick buck. That is wrong. And as Attorney General, I'm committed to a number of priorities. First is the rule of law protecting everybody. Secondly, protecting consumers from these irresponsible companies. And this is going to be something I'm going to focus really hard on. You all should feel free to contact my office. It's Stop Fraud Colorado. And you can share details of those schemes. And you also can email me. It's coag@coag.gov if you know of different sort of schemes. So that's a big issue, protecting consumers. A third big issue, I mentioned the opioid epidemic. How many people know someone who's been affected by the opioid epidemic? Okay, this is, to me, like a 4-alarm fire right now. It is destroying our communities. I had a great visit in Alamosa. Anyone here from Alamosa? All right, more opportunity for others here. Alamosa, incredible community. They care about each other in San Luis Valley. And we're talking about the future of the valley. Someone says, we can't talk about our economic future until we talk about the opioid epidemic. The sheriff there, great guy, Robert Jackson, shows me the jail, tells me 90% of the people in his jail are addicted to opioids. 90%. Think about that. He says they shouldn't be here. We should be giving them drug treatment. Well, we don't have enough drug treatment in Colorado. One thing I'm doing is suing these pharmaceutical companies who lied to people, made a bunch of money, and we're going to hold them accountable. So that's on the opioid side. By the way, the consumer protection side, I'm suing other pharmaceutical companies for fixing these generic prescription drug prices while they've gone up 1,000% or more. Fourth priority I mentioned is criminal justice reform. This is another access to justice issue. This just really kills me. If you get swept up, even some minor crime, you often are then put in jail and asked to pay cash bail. About half Americans don't have $400 immediately to do something like that, which means at least half the people just sit in jail no matter what. They might have kids depending on them, they might have a job, but they're sitting in jail. That is wrong. We've got to fix that. We've got to make it so unless you are a risk to hurt somebody, menace to society, or you're going to flee somewhere, you get out automatically without having to pay anything. And then finally, we got to protect our land, air, and water. This is our future in Colorado. We depend on it. We've got to keep our water and air clean. We've got to manage our water so that all communities around Colorado continue to thrive and not do stupid things like sometimes happen where you tell an agricultural community, hey, we'll buy all your water rights and shut you down. And the people there are sentenced to living in poverty after that. Crowley County, Colorado, that happened. You know what the biggest jobs in Crowley County are right now? Prisons. Okay? That's not right. So I've got an agenda that's all about access to justice. I can't do it all myself. We need other people who are committed to this. And that's my final point. It's citizenship. You are all leaders. You are all learning about the law. You'll all be in different communities. We've got to be in this together. And right now, what we need more than ever is people who learn about issues that they care about, whether it's protecting consumers, the opioid epidemic, criminal justice reform, protecting our land, air, and water, whatever you're passionate about, and say, what can I do? Because by working together on these issues, talking to people, sharing ideas, we can make sure that we in Colorado are helping to lead the nation. There was a great article this fall called, Can Colorado Save America? My answer is yes. I believe the way we do things here in Colorado. I'm honored to be your Attorney General. Happy to take a few questions if you have any.
The Attorney General, but it's not LegalShield related. So I can assure you he will not do. Yes, go ahead.
I would like to know, I've been told that several judges own prisons, private prisons here in Colorado, and that should be against the law.
First off, we need to get rid of private prisons. Let's start with that. Okay? This was painful when I went to Crowley County. Ordway is the biggest city there. And I talked to someone on the city council, Joe Zampa. I said, Joe, which prison should we close first as we lower incarceration? Private prison or the public prison? Get ready for your heart to get broken. It's the public prison. Because they don't pay taxes. And the employees in the public prison live in Pueblo and commute. So that's him being real. These private prisons, I just read a story about them today, breaks my heart. We have to start thinking differently about criminal justice. The goal should not be to incarcerate as many people as possible. The goal is, what do we need to keep our community safe, and how do we help people who just get swept up in the system to get on with their lives? And that starts with when they're kids. Because if you start getting put into the criminal justice system when you're a kid, it's very likely you're going to stay there, and you're not going to have opportunities. And the private prison scam is awful. I haven't heard about judges being involved with it, but that does strike me as highly problematic, to say the least. But the answer is ending private prisons, which is what we need to do here in Colorado.
I'm with you.
Thank you guys all very much for the time. Small commercial announcement. If you go to philforcolorado.com, you can kind of see when I'm coming to your communities, where I'll be, like Pride Parade. If there's issues you want to follow, you can follow me. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just stay engaged. We need active citizens now more than ever. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.